Hello everyone. It is Jackie with Pocket of Preschool. I'm so excited to have you guys with me tonight. Guess what we're talking about tonight? A zoo theme. So I want you guys to grab your lesson plan binder and we're just I'm gonna fill it up with tons of zoo themed inspiration because that's what we're doing for our theme for the this week and then next week. But tonight is all about zoo. So in the top of this post, you will find a few links. You will find links to my blog post with my zoo ideas. And on that, you will see, oh, I got like halos on me tonight. Sorry, guys. Or like stars or something. Goodness. So you'll find the blog post at the top of this post. And that has a link to a couple freebies. And then any of my printables for my TpT store, that link is up there. And then there's also a link to all of my past Facebook Lives if you want to check those out after the video. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna walk around my classroom and I'm gonna show you what we're kind of up to for this week and next week for our zoo theme. So, pop in the comments if you guys do a zoo theme or do you guys break it up into like habitats? Do you have a separate rainforest theme and a desert theme and like an ocean theme? So kind of tell me what everybody does. That way it's just fun to know what everybody else is doing too. So I'm gonna flip the camera around and we're gonna walk around and get started. So we are in my dramatic play center and it's a zoo. So it looks a little empty, but like we still haven't made our sign for up there yet. I've had a lot of friends out sick this week, so they're gonna help me make a sign on Friday. And so what it is in our zoo, so we have our snack shop, and this is like our ticket taker. So we have like our cash register, and then we have all of our visitor things. So we have like binoculars and maps and purses and cameras. And then we have a cash register, and then we have, of course, our snack shop menu. And then our snack shop's kind of back here. So we have our drink machine, and then we have our ice. And of course, you gotta add tweezers to sneak in some more fine motor. And then we have our popcorn, this is just a box. And then this is like paper wadded up, which is great fine motor practice. And then we have our utensils. And then, so for ice cream, this is just a balled up piece of I think it's like 3 or 4 pieces of big tissue paper. And I just taped it up. And these are just yogurt containers. You can kind of see it on the back. And I just put a piece of construction paper around it. So super simple. And then we made pretzels with pipe cleaners. So it's super fun. So we've been talking a lot about the zookeepers this week and what they do. And I'm going to show you in a minute. Today we read a nonfiction book about zookeepers. And they told me a lot about the tools and what do zookeepers use and how do they use them. So we have some zookeeper tools over here. And then we read how the zookeeper cooks food. So instead of having real food, I just have these like counters. I think these are gems from the dollar store. And I just spray painted them different colors. You can tell some of the colors coming off a little bit. And then I also put just some cut up pipe cleaners. So we have long food and we have round food. And then they just take the bowls and then they mix them in the pots and the pans. And they cook for the animals in the zoo kitchen because real zookeepers cook for the animals too. So we want to be just like the real zookeepers. So they're cooking up they were making some banana bread for the monkeys today. It was really cute. So these are our habitats. So we only have a couple so far because this week we're kind of focused all on the rainforest. And then tomorrow we're going to do or not tomorrow. I'm Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So we talked a lot about the rainforest and zookeepers today, or Monday and Wednesday. And then on Friday, we're going to talk about the savannah. So see all these open cubbies at the bottom? On Friday, they're going to make the savannah habitats, and those are going to go in those bottom cubbies. So on Monday, for our morning table time, it was literally just to paint the boxes. And then we have our small group towards the end of our day. So what we did was, for circle, I'm gonna kind of scooch over, I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. So for circle time, I read just a general book about the rainforest, a nonfiction book. And you can either do this in small groups, but we did it in a whole group because I Guys, I only had 4 kids on Monday. Seriously, 4 kids. Over half of my class was out sick. Or mom was sick or somebody was sick so they couldn't come. So normally I do this with my whole class in small group. I have done this with 18 kiddos. So you can totally do this with a whole big class. So don't think it's impossible just because I did it with only 4 kids. Because I do this every time I do Zoom. So I read a nonfiction book about the rainforest, and then while we were in circle, they got out their clipboards and they drew what the rainforest looked like in their pictures. And then you can tell some of them are 3 and some of them are pre-K. And then what we did is they each picked an animal, and I gave them a nonfiction book about their animal, and they just looked at the pictures and they added in their animal to their picture. So this is like our bird, rainforest habitat, the toucan. And then when it was small group time, which 4 kids is a small group, right? I put out the boxes, and then in the middle of the table, I put out this big tub of green goodness. So I have leaves they could cut out. I just have green paper. I have green string that they definitely used and cut. It's definitely a hot mess, which is fine. And then I put out some ribbon. And then this is that like paper shredding from, what's it called? Like the dollar store. And then I just have green crepe paper because I love art with green crepe paper. Art is so much fun. And then I have some sticks, and then I put out glue bottles. And what they did was they made their habitats. So here is my one little friend. Here's his frog habitat. And we put the animals in once they were dry. This is just like a copy box. Let's see if you guys can see. That I cut in half. Oof. You guys know I love my copy boxes. I like keep them and save them in my basement. So he just cut up some green paper for the trees, and he glued some on the bottom. And then here's the monkey habitat. You can tell this was a pre-K friend because she actually has trees in hers. Oh, sorry. And then this is actually a 4-year-old's habitat, but look how cool. He wanted vines, so we problem solved together. And he kind of put them on here and then on the edge, and then glued this to the side to make it hold. So the bird has vines, and then he has some trees. And then here's my tiger habitat, one other friend made. Don't you love how the trees are floating? I love that. So cute. So yeah. So typically I would have 2 kids work on this, but when I taught full day, I would have actually 4 kids per habitat. So I have 4 kids do a tiger, 4 kids do the toucan, 4 kids do a monkey, 4 kids do a frog, and then I would have I have a couple groups of 3, sorry, and then some would do the cheetah, or the jaguar, because jaguars live in the rainforest. Yep. And then in art, they loved it so much. They on Wednesday this was our art project in the art center, and they made an insectarium for all of our insects. So it's a great way to add in lots and lots of science, where animals live, talking about habitats and things. And it's lots and lots of great fine motor because they're cutting and gluing and all kinds of things, and problem solving, because this was hard, guys. Getting that to stick, that was really, really tricky. So we had to problem solve that together. So that was really, really fun. And then a couple friends made a petting tank, and I just taped some paper to the bottom, and I gave them some blue stuff, and they made the stingray petting tank, because we actually have a stingray tank at our zoo in St. Louis. So this is something that's actually in our zoo. So it's something they can relate to, they've been to, and then they put rocks in the bottom because our stingray tank has some rocks in the bottom. So that's super, super fun. So that is our pretend center. And they had so much fun in it today. There was so much language, so much back and forth. It was like super high level play. It was just amazing. I was super excited. All the back and forth and the language and the vocabulary and the turn taking, and it was just awesome, awesome, awesome. And then this is my sensory table. So this is just dried peas. I think I bought like 10, 12 bags from like Walmart. And then I just put in some fake leaves and then some rainforest animals. And when I taught full day, I did zoo for 4 weeks. So each week we did a different habitat. So week 1 we did rainforest, and then we did savanna, week 2, and then we did desert, and then we did Arctic. But this year I'm just doing 2 weeks, so I'll probably change this out next week, and I'm going to change it to a desert habitat. So I'll probably just put sand in, and then some rocks, and then all those desert animals. But you can also change it and do different habitats. So if you want to do savanna, put in some yellow grass and some yellow Easter grass and some green Easter grass and a couple trees. And then if you want to do Arctic, put in some ice and some water. And then for library, if you watched my circle time video, you know my trick to this. So what I did was, I love this book, Eric Carle's From Head to Toe. I love it. The illustrations are beautiful. It's fun to act out. You can talk about sequence, which character was first, and all of that goodness. But I literally took this book, put it on a copier, color copier, and I made my own story cards that way. So, and this is just for my classroom. I didn't do anything special, but I just color copied them and I put them on some poster board and ran them through the laminator. But that way we have big, beautiful story cards to go with our story. And we read this book on Monday and on Wednesday. On Monday we acted it out, and then on Tuesday I asked them what characters they remembered, and I gave out the character cards before, and then we put them in a big long line and talked about how many characters there were, who was first, second, and third, and all of that goodness. So it's a really fun way to do character cards, just by color copying that book. And then here is my writing center, like always. And I know sometimes it gets boring to do the same thing. So one year, I have this from a couple years past, when I taught full day. So my class was really struggling with vocabulary. So we every time made our own vocabulary chart. And I put the initial sound in a different color, and we talked about the words we would know as we were reading different books. And then I would have my pre-K kiddos add an illustration. So like, here's our savanna, and I totally spelled that wrong. That's super awesome. Ignore that. And then, so like they loved our zoo cook, so they put a zoo cook on there, and penguin, and a visitor, and a zookeeper, and it really ignored my spelling error there. So, but yeah, everybody makes mistakes, right? And you guys know spelling is not my strong suit. So yeah. All right. So make your own vocabulary chart if you don't want to do a typical one, or if your kiddos are struggling with vocabulary. It's fun to, I really do love Eric Carle books for a zoo theme, like Slowly Said the Sloth. I love this book. It's great for teaching social skills about moving slow and how that's important. Giraffes Can't Dance is another good one. Does a Kangaroo Have a Mother Too is a good one, especially if you have little kiddos, like twos. This is a fun book for them because it talks about the moms and the babies for different ones. And I love how the word is in a different print, like a color. So that's really fun to note. If you have pre-K kiddos, start to notice the text too. Like, oh look, elephant is in a different font than, or the letters are different. And I always tell you guys a couple of fun books. So I'll tell you a fun book that I love for zoo. It's called Two at the Zoo. I love this book. And I actually just took some clip art I have. I don't have this in my store or anywhere. I should make it for you guys. But I'd made this like forever ago. But it's called Two at the Zoo, and it's just a counting book. And he is taking pictures along the way of all the different animals we see, all the different animals he sees. And it's just fun. It's a little fun book about all the different animals and counting. And then I just took some clip art and I just made it match the book. So like here is the 9 flamingos, and then I have 9 flamingos. So super fun. So remember how I said earlier we read the book, we read A Day in the Life of a Zookeeper, and talks about all the different supplies zookeepers used, trying to help them with some vocabulary and then help them with their pretend play background. And here, so I just use little index cards, and he needed a hose, and then here's a bowl and a bucket. So we made a huge list of all the different supplies, and after we were done with that, they said, oh, like we want to make a list of all the different animals that are in our zoo. So then tomorrow, or on Friday for Circle, I'm actually going to read a book about the savannah, and so we'll probably focus mostly on the savannah animals, which is okay. And then we can talk about, what other habitats are there, and what are some other zoo animals. So that's really fun. And these are in my Zoo Dramatic Play Pack. And we probably won't use all of them, but we'll do some of them. When I taught full day, we would do the whole web together. My class this year is obsessed with making little cards and doing graphs at Circle. They love being part of the chart or the graph or drawing. Like if we read an ABC book, like this African Animals ABC book is really fun, and they like to get out their dry erase boards and write with the book, so that's fun. And then for art, I haven't had this out yet because we've been so busy making habitats, but I'm going to do a zoo Play-Doh tray. So these are just my plastic plants. That way they don't get stuck on the Play-Doh. I had these out for Dinosaur, and they loved them. So they're just some plastic plants from the dollar store, and I just cut off the flower part. And then I have some blue jewels, clear and green, and then I have blue and green Play-Doh. And if they ask for yellow, like if they're making a desert, I will absolutely get that out. But it's really fun to just kind of use this also as a sorting opportunity, because as they make the habitat, is that animal go on the land, or is that an animal that goes in the water? So it's a fun way to add in some science and some math into your Play-Doh tray. We also made these. So I don't know if you guys know, but it's really fun to make puffy paint. So it's just glue, white glue, shaving cream, food coloring to make a green duck. So what we did was they drew their trees first, and then they used the paintbrush to add in their leaves. So you can tell I have different levels. Like here's my 3-year-old, and then here is some pre-K friends. So because I have a mixed ability class. So that was a fun way to talk about how many trees there are in the rainforest. Because there's so many trees. This is the freebie on my blog. I'm gonna kind of turn it a little cockeyed. But so these pictures, if you're doing a desert, you can show them pictures about a cactus. Because I live in Missouri and we don't really have cactuses here. So I print out this picture and we talk about a cactus. And then this is actually a fine motor cutting activity you can do. And I just have different size ovals, and these ovals are in with the photos. And then they just cut it out and then create their cactus, and then they can add the needles. And I used a paint stick for my little guy used a paint stick to make his needles. So I'll put a link to those paint sticks in the Facebook post in a little bit. Oh, Emily says she can't use shaving cream. Well, that is no fun. Yeah. So try. I don't know. Does anybody know? We'll put it in the post. Help Emily out. Is there another way to make shaving cream? I don't know. Or not shaving cream. Is there another way to make puppy paint? So that without shaving cream that maybe she could use. So if you know of a recipe, pop it in the comments for it, Miss Emily. All right. So another fun way to sneak in some math is to make zoo maps. So here I took home some maps from our St. Louis Zoo. That way we can talk about, when you go see the giraffes, they're on this side, and then on the opposite side is where the elephants are. And then these are old maps. That's where our polar bear is, which is really, really big right now at our zoo. Because we just got him 3 years ago maybe? He's still kind of little. Well, not little, he's very big, but we just got him, and so everybody's super excited still. But you can make a zoo map, so you can have them make their path and draw the different houses or different places in the zoo. So it's a great way to sneak in some spatial reasoning and some map skills. And I know Kinder does lots with map skills. At least in Missouri, it's on the curriculum a lot. Another fun thing you can do, talking about camouflage, because a lot of animals use camoufage in the wild, and patterns, because there are patterns all over in nature. Like here's a pattern, and then all the different patterns in nature. And I love scrapbook paper to kind of give them an example, so you can get out some scrapbook paper and talk about the patterns and laminate it if you want, and they can trace the patterns or color them on top, and then they can draw their own animal and make a pattern, which is super fun. And then sorting. So there's so many ways to sort animals. So you can sort animals by where they live, by if they're in the water, or if they live on land or in the air, or by their habitat. And then you can also sort them by their skin, or their designs on their skin, by plain stripes or spots. You can do by size, feathers and no feathers. And then I always like to see what else they want to do. Like maybe they want to do claws and no claws. Maybe they want to do horns, no horns. So you can either use sorting cards, which these are this whole thing's in my Zoo TpT Centers pack, or you can use actually the real animals. So like take them off the Play-Doh tray and have them sort the real animals. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, so we are adding face painting next week to our zoo, which is going to be so fun. I just put out a fake paintbrush and these paint palettes, and then they paint each other's face, and it's just the sweetest thing, and it's also really fun for them to for turn taking, and it's just a great way to build that classroom community too. All right, we're gonna jump into some literacy centers. So, you guys know, like I am not a big worksheet fan. Yes, Molly, I do get most of my books from Scholastic. I think those, almost all of them that I just showed you were from Scholastic, except for that 2 with the zoo book. I bought that on Amazon. Yeah. And then, Nancy says she loves the grizzly bears at the St. Louis Zoo. I do too. I love all the bears. We have so many amazing bears. It's awesome. We got another new bear habitat too next to the polar bears, which is really, really cool. So I just have these beginning sound mats, and I'm going to sprinkle in, which I keep saying this, and I still haven't yet, guys, because I'm just not a fan of worksheets. But they need to know how to do them for kinder. So I sprinkle a few in the last couple months, or in the spring, which even though it snowed here today and yesterday, it's really not spring, but it's close enough, right? So you can have them just do, if you just want them to do like an interactive game, you can have them just put the letters in the box that match. The beginning sound like E for eel, S for sloth, and then have them do a worksheet after, or leave the worksheet out completely, or you can put it in a dry erase pocket, the worksheet, and they can fill it out that way. Another fun way to do beginning sounds is just to use animals. Like I have a ginormous collection of Beanie Babies. So you can just put the zoo animals out, and you can do this with the plastic animals too from the Block Center. And then just have them go around and put the beginning sound down. And another fun thing to do, we're actually doing this week, is my transition so we go from music and movement, where we're all at circle, to snack. So one at a time to wash their hands. They pick out a zoo animal, and then they clap the number of syllables. So it's just a fun way for them to do syllables, and I can get a quick assessment in, just write down who can and who like what level everybody's at on counting out syllables, and then they get to hold it while they clap. So it's just a really fun hands-on way to do syllables. You can also put them in like a bag, and if you only have like flashcards, have them pull out a flashcard and count the syllable. Just even pulling things out of bags is super, super fun. And then I have, I'm not using this yet because we are just not ready for sight words this year, because half day is so different than full day. We just don't have that much time. So we're not there yet, but that's okay. But you can do read, build, write. So they read the word, they build it with magnet letters, and then they write it down with a dry erase marker. So that's fun. And then I also have a mom and baby letter match for those kiddos who are not ready to do sounds yet. So those will be good for my 4-year-old-ish age. And then let me show you over here. So at my math table, I just taped down a number line. Oh, sorry, that was really fast. I taped down a number line of little tigers. So there's the mommy, and she had a lot of babies. And then what they do is they can take the dominoes and they can match it, 4, or they can count out the number of cubes and put it down, or even, I have chains over here. So they can, let's just pretend I'm attaching these since I'm on Facebook and I have one hand. And then they can put the chains on and they can count it. So it's just fun and a really good way to practice representing numbers. Oh my gosh, that's 8, guys. So sorry. So you can just make sure you put them in the right spot, unlike I did earlier. So they can count out cubes, you can do dominoes, you can do chains, and have them linked. So just different ways to represent numbers. And this has a worksheet in it as well, and they can just write their numbers in order. Or you don't have to do it. Throw it in the trash if you don't want to do that worksheet. So, and then we played Zoo Cover-Up today. My kiddos love Cover-Up. I know some people say that some of my games repeat in some of my center packs, and I do that because I want them, so once they learn how to play the game once, like they see it maybe like 2 or 3 times later that year. That way they already know how to play the game, and it's just they already know the game, so now we're just really focusing on the skill, and we're not really focusing on the procedure of how to play the game. So that's why some of my games repeat, or you guys ask me to put that game in more center packs, like the syllable clap and build game. I know a lot of people love, that's in probably I think like 4 center packs now. Probably not going to put it in anymore, but that way they know the game and they love it, and if they love it, then they'll play it again too. So now I'm going to show you blocks. So my block center, so I have my I Can Build cards, and my I Can Build cards are from my Habitat pack this time. Alright. And then I also put them on the side where they can touch them and feel them. And then I have blinds. This is my struggle this year. I don't have a wall that's low over here, so I just clip some pictures onto my blinds. I really hope I don't ruin my blind. So what they do is they build their habitat, and they measure it with string. They can do it independently most of the time. My 3-year-olds, don't really measure very exact, but as long as they're trying, it's totally fine with me. My pre-K kiddos usually measure pretty exact. They measure how tall is the string, and then we get to tape it up, and then we can compare which one is the tallest. And this year they don't care, but some years they love to write their name, so that way they remember whose string was whose. During centers, I do small groups, so they play in centers mostly independently. Now, if they don't do an activity or if they play a game a different way, I'm totally fine with that as long as they're still doing some kind of skill. So if they are, maybe they're playing that game that was on the table with the number line, maybe they're counting out different things. Maybe they got out mini erasers and they're counting out. That's totally fine with me. As long as they're counting and having fun with that game, like that's totally fine with me. It's actually higher level skill to make up your own game. So just think of it that way, that they are doing a high level skill if they're making up the game in their own way. So it's usually fine. It doesn't bother me. I know it just depends teacher to teacher, because most days I'm in here by myself with 8 kiddos. So I can't really be in every center every time. So it's mostly independent during center time. So we have my habitats up in the pictures, so that way they can picture it in their brain and see it. And then I also, we have sand dunes. Y'all, this is not like super exciting, but they love it. It's yellow paper, yellow cardstock, cut kind of silly. Super exciting. Rocks. Okay, so I have these tree blocks, so they can stack them to make trees, or they can just put one of these in their building to represent a tree. And then we called these rainforest leaves. So just different leaves. Look at that light, it's kind of fun. Different leaves from all the flowers I chop off to do different things with. So yeah, so I think that's almost everywhere in my classroom. Do you guys have any questions for me? And we're still learning about our fish. If you want all those fish printables, they're freebies in my Facebook group. So hop on over there if you want those. We're still talking about our fish. It's so fun. He like comes to the top now to eat. It's really, really fun. I think I talked about everything, guys. I'm just gonna flip back around real quick. That's about it for tonight. Where was my habitat research located? Andrew wants to know. The habitat research, I think I know it's in dramatic play, the zoo dramatic play for sure. There might be some kind of, might be a different one in the center pack. I don't know for sure. Here, oh, you know what? Let's look. So this is how I keep my center packs. I just put them on a book ring. So they're in the zoo center pack. There's word cards and journal pages. Now you could use this, like if you're doing a savanna habitat, you could definitely use this paper for it. There's animal matchup, the beginning sound mats, there's tracing cards, the syllable move it, read, build, write. And you can totally do this with kids' names too. Absolutely do it with kids' names. Yes, and then it goes into math. So yeah, so that, the zoo research page is in the zoo dramatic play, but if you have this pack, just use some of this writing paper. You can totally use that for that zoo research. But yeah. So somebody says, what curriculum do I use in my school? And I've written my own curriculum. I've been on the curriculum team when I worked for the school district, I think 8 years or not 8 years, probably like 6 years. We were working on it. So I've been working on curriculum for a long time. So I kind of, I know the research, at least the current research. So yeah, so I just make up my own. It's all in my TpT store. I get most of my clip art off TpT. Unless it's something really old, like that zoo, 2 at the zoo was from like Google Images, like forever ago. Like I made it probably like years and years ago, maybe like 6 or 7 years ago. So where did I find the small rainforest animals for my bin? I've just collected them over the years, and you know those, is it tobes or tabs? Those like tube animals. They have a rainforest one I think I bought once at Michael's, and I used my coupon. Those little animals are really, really cute, but they're kind of expensive, so I just use my coupon when I can. So yeah, you guys have a great night. There's links in the top of this post if you need them. I will come back and answer questions later. Sorry about the star thing that's going on tonight. And you guys have a great night.